Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And today I'm going to do a little bit of a story time one here, or just kind of talking about some things that have happened in my life. As you know, tomorrow, if you watch my videos regularly, as you know, tomorrow is my 47th birthday. I'm working on kind of a special video for this channel for tomorrow. I am currently working on all the things I've learned in my life up to this point, or the highlighted things I've learned in my life, because I talk on here a lot about life being about lessons and the things that we learn and the things that we're presented with and what we take from that, and if we choose to stay open to that and continue to grow. If you don't know, if you haven't heard already, I have a BookTube channel, and BookTube is a community of people that read books and buy books and do readathons and read together, and I love being part of that community. And it's the first place I really started as a YouTuber. I had posted videos before, but it's where I made a commitment to post on a regular basis, and I feel so honored to be part of that community. And I've learned about so many great books to read that I would never have known of if I hadn't been part of that community. I know Boo Radley. They have been running around outside. It's so beautiful today. It is bright blue skies. My husband got me a massage. I just got back from getting a massage today. And that's a little bit of what this is kind of about. I was laying there, and my mind was just kind of going all over the place, thinking about different things. And the reason I brought up the BookTube channel is because I just finished a book last night that I'm going to do my book review about today. And it's Recursion by Blake Crouch. 2 years ago, I read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and they're books that are kind of a mix of science fiction and reality, but really not science fiction like aliens or spaceships and things like that. It's really more about science topics like physics and things like that, applicable to a real world telling, if that makes sense. So, I'm not super bright when it comes to science and things like that. And y'all know I can't do math. Y'all know. So it's really, more about telling it in layman's terms. Well, the book that I read, Recursion, which was so fantastic. You can check out my book review about it. But it was so fantastic. And I literally listened to it on Audible in a day and a half, 2 days. It was so, so good. It was really about memory and the power of memory and what memory is to us, as well as how does memory affect us. And not just memory as far as how good is your memory, or do you have a good memory, things like that, but really about memories and, memories that we have from our past, and what do they mean, and, what do they mean at the time that we're living in them and creating them, and what do they mean looking back on memories. If you watch my vlog, you know that I sit on there and I just basically tell memories of things that have happened in my life. And, reading this book, what it made me realize is that life is about living, in the moment, living those realities, but also reliving them in memories. So I was thinking about it being my birthday. My husband's been asking me, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I'm not somebody that loves to do big things for my birthday. Last 2 years we traveled. Last year for his birthday, the year before for mine. I like doing something like that with my husband, but I don't really love to do huge things for my birthday. And usually if we're here, we'll just go see a double feature and, go get something to eat, just he and I, or maybe me and, my husband and maybe 2 close friends or something like that. But I don't really love to do big things. I don't love to have parties. I don't like that kind of surprise, or me walk into a room, there's 30 people there. I just don't enjoy that. It makes me nervous. I don't like it. And I also, have social anxiety, and I've talked a lot about that on this channel. My husband is somebody that likes the big party. He likes the surprises. He likes to walk into a room of 30 or 100 people and have everybody go, surprise, happy birthday. And, I was thinking about that today. I was kind of thinking a lot about my memories from my childhood. And I was thinking about this birthday party that I had. And, when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of birthday parties, and in fact, I don't really remember what birthday party this would have been. I think it probably would have been, I don't know, 7 or 8, because I know that it had to have been before the bullying for me got really bad, because at that point, I just didn't have a lot of friends. So I can remember sitting in, we had this, at the end of our house, we had this glass porch. It was all floor to ceiling windows and this green carpet, and we would sit out there, my mom and I, and watch old movies and things like that. But I can remember vividly sitting there. We had these yellow director's chairs, and I can remember sitting in this chair and 10 people, 10 kids around me, and I was unwrapping presents. And so I have to believe that if I had that many people over, I would have been, I don't know, 7, 8 maybe, because after that was when things really got bad for me. It really started in first grade, but not really till about third grade did it really become like where I was isolated and I had no friends. So I was thinking about that birthday, and you know what I remembered was up till before then, I did do things for my birthday. Like, I did want to have a party, and I can remember like getting a cake and just figuring out what cake I wanted that year for my birthday. I remembered that in that moment in a way that I hadn't really remembered it before. So, you know, I played tennis growing up, and my grandma, she at the time worked for this place called the athletic department. It was like kind of like a Finish Line today, and you know, or a Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that. And she would always buy my cousin and I, because we both played tennis, she would buy us those like track suits is what they call them today. You know, where you pull the pants up and they're like matching, and I always liked them in light blue, and they were like Adidas, you know, or Nike, and then you would zip up the jacket. Well, I remember sitting in this chair and that I had one of those tracksuits on that my grandmother must have gotten me for my birthday that year. And I remember that, like, somebody like was handing me a present, and I stood up, and whoever was like sitting down next to me de-pantsed me. And I know it sounds funny, right? Like, it sounds like haha in retrospect. But like, in reliving that moment in a way of like I was really thinking about it, I can remember that I like ran from the room and I wanted everybody to leave. I was extremely embarrassed, and I just didn't want any of the attention anymore. Like, I wanted it just to be over. Like, in that moment, I just wanted it all to go away. I just didn't want any attention on me. I wanted it to go away, and I was very upset. I don't remember what happened after that. I don't remember if everybody went home. I don't remember if we had cake and ice cream. I just remember that at that moment, I was done. I really wonder if in retrospect, you know, I was thinking about the effect that moments in our lives have on us. And I am a believer that life is made of moments, and the positive and the negative, you know, the bitter and the sweet. And I really wonder in retrospect if that moment was a defining moment for me on how I looked at my birthday going forward, because I've never since then really liked anything done for me. In fact, 2 years ago when last year was Alex's birthday. 2 years ago we were in Mexico, and you know, he did this whole thing where he had like, they brought cake out to the side of the pool, and it was very, very sweet. It was very, very nice. It made me very, very nervous. Like, I just don't like a lot of attention. I don't like singing at like restaurants. I hate that, right? And in fact, a couple years ago, we all went to Benihana, Alex's whole family, and it wasn't even my birthday. It was like August or something, and they had told everybody that it was my birthday to play like a prank on me. And I remember they like came out and sang happy birthday to me, and I was really upset. Like, I did not like it at all. And you know, I wonder if that moment in my life, like that moment of, you know, being de-pantsed, which, okay, it's funny, but to a 6, 7, 8-year-old, it really isn't that funny. And you know, that kind of bled into this whole thing of me being bullied. I talk a lot about being bullied, and I talk a lot about how it was, you know, verbal, emotional, physical at times, things like that. You know, my things were messed with a lot, whether it was my locker or my books or my car that I drove, whatever. It was always kind of messed with. You know, like, people wrote horrible words with Sharpies on my locker every day, you know, that I would come to high school. There'd be something, you know, that I had to deal with. But I think the thing that was the worst, you know, and I talked in a vlog not too long ago about the fact that, like, when I was in junior high, one of the worst things was the isolation, because I had no friends. So, like, my 6th grade year, I had 2 girlfriends that I was really close with, but after that, we kind of all went our separate ways, and I was all alone. That was hard. But I have to say that elementary school and high school were kind of mirror images of each other to some degree. And I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about the bullying recently and how it's affected me. And you know, I'm not somebody that wants to sit for the rest of my life and say, well, I'm a victim of bullying, because I feel like I've overcome it. I feel like I learned a lot from it. I feel like today, the things that I learned as a result of that make me a stronger person. I also know that the bully who is bullying somebody, it has a lot of internal pain themselves. And so I really had a chance in my life. I had a chance to sit down with my biggest bully in high school and talk to him, and we're friends today, you know? And that, for me, that whole process was just like, you know, I've had so many moments in my life that I look back, like getting sober, or, you know, my mother getting sober, or just, you know, I've had all these reconciliation moments in my life where I've really been able to full circle see my life come back around, sitting down with my bully and talking to him and then us being friends today is probably one of those biggest moments. I mean, in all honesty, it really is. Because every day I went to high school, I was terrified of him. And I think that's the thing, you know, is that when I was in counseling, I've been counseling, you know, for the last couple years pretty regularly, and I remember talking to my counselor one day about my bullying and, like, constantly being, like, not knowing, like, even in my adult life, like, what's coming next, right? Like, I had this, like, you know, underlying anxiety of, like, what's gonna happen next. And he said to me, you know, that is, I think, a result of maybe you having some PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, as a result of being bullied for so many years, that you never know what the next thing is that's going to happen. And I was thinking about that last night. You know, I've learned, I have tools today to deal with that. I have ways to live through it. But like I've talked in my vlog a lot too about having an obsessive compulsive disorder, which we know is a control mechanism, right? To try to control the outcome in the future. It's like, it's this crazy way of thinking. And I very much have it. A lot of addicts and alcoholics do. And I have ways to work through that today as well, right? But the thing is that I still have that fear inside of me. Like, I'm very fear-based. And, you know, it goes back to those moments of elementary school and high school. Like in junior high, people just didn't screw with me. Like, they just didn't. Like, I was literally all alone. Like, I had nobody, right? I mean, I had like one friend, and he was so active in other things that I really never saw him. So, you know, those were the years that I hung out with my mom and watched movies, and those were formative years for me. I think that that's why, you know, to this day, I still look at a lot of those actresses that I saw through those years, you know, as like they were like, those are role models to me that I looked up to, you know, and I read a lot during that time, and I was just very much alone, you know, and, but I look back to elementary school and high school as being these years where I didn't know if I was going to walk into the, you know, cafeteria in elementary school, you know, if somebody was going to, you know, pull my tray out from underneath me or trip me in the hallway. I mean, kids are mean. They really, really are sometimes, you know? And I think, like, as I got older in high school, it was more calculated, what do you call it? More calculated kind of pranks, right? Cruelty. It was harsh. It was harsh cruelty that was dealt onto me. And, you know, I was thinking about that, I just got flooded with all of these memories of small things that I had forgotten, you know? Like, one day I walked out to my car, and it was like a beautiful spring day, and it was a Friday, and my friends and I were really excited about something we had planned that weekend, and somebody had taken lipstick and literally written all over my car, on the windshield. I mean, I couldn't even see out of my windshield, on every window, on the cars, I mean, on the doors, everywhere. They wrote the word F-A-G-G-O-T. Everywhere, okay? To get that lipstick off was unbelievable. So to have to live through getting that lipstick off, A, B, not wanting my parents to have to see that, and C, living through the torment that somebody else did to me. You know, I think about like moments like that, right? Or like the lunchroom that I talk about. Or, you know, like, I talked about this in my vlog not too long ago, that I had almost graduated from high school. I was so ready. I was like, let me get out of this hellhole, you know? And this bully that I talk about, we did this thing called senior wills in high school. And, so you could will your friends like little things, right? Like you could will them like practical jokes or, you know, whatever, you know, like Mrs. Jones' English class or whatever, you know, just like little memories. Well, I came to school, and this was literally like probably 2 days before we graduated, or 2 days before our last day. You know, and everybody was like, we were having half days, and everybody was signing yearbooks and stuff like that. And I came to school with a friend of mine, and everybody was looking at me. I mean, literally everybody was looking at me. And it was like one of those moments you see in a TV show. I mean, and when I see those moments today, like I still inside shake a little. And I had no idea what was going on. And one of my friends pulled me aside, and she was like, you need to see this. And my bully had willed the entire football team my ass. And, it just was, you know, it just was things like that. And then, like, they had all had it wasn't just that. There were many of them that had willed each other personal jokes about me. You know, and I think, at what expense? At a laugh, you know? And I look at that in retrospect, and I think about how all of those memories that I have, those negative memories, which I try not to give a lot of power to this day, but in reality, in 47 years, they've had a lot of power in my life. They really have. From me not wanting to have birthday parties, to me, you know, not putting myself in certain situations because I'm afraid of what the outcome might be, or me having social anxiety to where I won't even go to one of my best friend's Halloween parties without knowing who exactly is going to be there, and showing up an hour early so I can put myself in the kitchen with my back against the wall so I can see everybody come in. These are the things I live with on a regular basis because of the torment that I went through as a child. And you know, my torment was nothing in comparison to 95% of the people that are out there. Truly, okay? So when I think about the fact that I was told by counselors and teachers and, you know, deans of my high school when I got older, get over it, grow up, you know, grow thick skin. Like, we always want to talk about having thick skin. I'm open to the lesson. I've always been open to the lesson. But I think that we have to remember, especially with children, you know, and I think especially with people around us, our friends and our families, you know, that sometimes what we think is a joke is not funny to them. And sometimes that joke is something that, if it reiterates a feeling that they already have inside about themselves, if I'm somebody that doesn't have a lot of confidence at 7, 8 years old, and I'm already embarrassed of who I am as a person because people are already making fun of how I walk, how I talk, whatever, and then you de-pants me at a birthday party, my own birthday party, and everybody's laughing at me yet again, and I'm the joke. I'm not anybody's joke today, you know, and I think that what I've learned in 47 years, which I've learned a lot, but one of the things in regards to all of this, right, is that there's a lot that I'm willing to laugh at about myself. I'm a funny person, okay, and not just because I'm a humorous person, but because I make funny mistakes, and I do funny things, and I do things that should be laughed at, okay, that, you know, we don't need to take each other so seriously. Like I say all the time, it's just not that deep. But sometimes things are serious, and sometimes things do affect people, and I think that we have to think about that, you know. And one of the things I want to work on going forward is not giving any more power, if I have, to those things in the past, you know. And I don't want a birthday party this year, but maybe next year I do. You know, maybe I need a year to kind of prepare for that, and then maybe next year I'll say to my husband a week before, I think I kind of like a surprise party. You know what I mean? Maybe next year I'll be ready for it. You know, maybe next year I'll be ready to have somebody sing at me at a restaurant. I don't know. Today I just kind of grin and bear those things when they happen to me, but I don't love them. But I do think it's important for us to recognize that those things that happen to us as children are not things that we're just going to get over. They're not things that we can just grow, you know, thick skin about. It's not about growing up, manning up, or, you know, whatever. It's about realizing that those things had an effect on us, acknowledging them, moving through them, not moving over it, okay, or moving on, but moving through them, realizing how it affected us and becoming aware of that, and then being able to move through our lives to the other side where we aren't victims of those things anymore. And that's who I was going to say, that's who I think I am today. I can't say that 100% because I'm not, and those things still have effect on me, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there, and I'm working on it, and that's where I say all the time, you know, like, we're never a perfect version of ourselves. We're continuing to work on ourselves on a regular basis. One of the things that is the greatest thing about YouTube is that I'm allowed to get on YouTube, you know, and laugh at myself and make a fool of myself and, you know, say things that I wouldn't normally say any other time because it's in the safety of my home with a camera, and I don't really honestly half the time think about, you know, the fact that so many people are going to watch it afterwards, or anybody is going to watch it. And YouTube has been so great for my confidence, you know, my self-concept, because I don't love the word self-esteem. I like the word concept, self-concept. It's been so great for me because it's made me really realize, you know, that this is who I am, take me or leave me, you know? And for the rest of my life, this is who I am, take me or leave me. But if those things I don't like about myself, I do have the option to continue to work on those, and I try to stay open to that, you know, on an ongoing basis. But I thought that was interesting today. I was thinking about that, you know, like why my view of my birthday is so completely different than my husband's. And does it go back to that one incident that happened in my life? And I think maybe sometimes, you know, it's not about belaboring the point of what happened to us when we were 7 years old and saying, but you don't know what happened to me, but you don't know what happened to me, but you don't know what happened to me. Like I said, I don't want to be victim or hostage to that one memory for the rest of my life. I just don't, right? But I think it's important to be aware and look at the root issue that came that affected the rest of it. And I really wonder if that was what it was for me. So anyway, I hope you guys are having, I was going to say, let me know what you think. Yeah, let me know what you think. Do you have any memories that have affected you throughout your entire life? Not experiences. And I'm not talking about severely, you know, abusive situations as well, too, because I think that those do need to be, you know, dealt with in the professional settings. But moments like that we've had, just little moments, you know, that we've had of situations like, I mean, I've had so many of those. So many just brief moments of 10 or 30 seconds that have literally affected me for the rest of my life. And sometimes I forget about them, right? And I continue to act in a way that I don't even realize because of something that happened to me for 10 or 20 seconds 20 years ago. You know what I mean? It's crazy when you think back on that. If you like go back and 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 look at why you act that way. And maybe sometimes it is just about 20 seconds. 20 seconds of our entire life affects a lifetime. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that little story of my life, and I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.